Okay, welcome back from the break. From the 10 minutes break, we are now back. Now, remember before we go to break, we talk about Q1. That's the first quartile. And then we talk about Q2. I said Q2 is a median. You remember that? And then we talk about Q3. Hey, we are talking about Qs. Qs, what is this Qs? Remember I said a Q stands for quartile. Quartile 1, or the first quartile. We can write it as first quartile. Hey, have a look. Remember, the word, we're having the word quarter. What's the word quarter? Says. The word quarter says 1/4. What is 1/4? Hey, that's 0.25. Which is 25%. Now you see. That means the first quartile is equals to 25%. That's why I said it's 25%. Remember. Do you see? Now we go to Q2. That's the second quartile. Second quartile. Hey, remember what did I say? I said the second quartile, that's 50%. Was that 50%? That's a median. Now, the median, that's 50%. That means it's a second quartile. So we go to the third one, Q3. That's the third quartile. What's that third quartile stand for? What does that mean? Remember? That's 3/4. Remember, I said quarter means 1/4. 4 is full. It's 1 over that full. When that means it's 1/4, which is 0.25 decimals. When you convert it to decimals, when you change it to percentage, that's 25%. Now, second one, the second quartile, that's 2/4. What is 2/4? That's 1/2, a half. What is a half? It's 0.5. That's why it's 50%. The third quartile, the third one, that's third quartile. Third quartile, that's 3/4, which is 0.75. That is 75%. That means it's 75% of the data which is given. Do you get a point now? That is, it's 75% of the data which is given. Now, what is this data that are we talking about? What is this quartiles that are we talking about? Now, let's check it. Let's check it. What is this quarter that we are talking about? The first quartile. The first quartile, that's first quartile. That's the middle value of the first half of the data when the median has been determined. That's Q1. Do you see how did I come to that Q1? Now we go to the second one. The second one, it is second quartile. This is the same as the median. Do you remember I said 50%? That means 50% is the median one, the center one. Now, the interesting one, the third quartile. What is this third quartiles that are we talking about? We're busy talking about quartiles. Quartiles. What is the third quartiles are we talking about? we are talking about the middle value of the second half of the data set. When the median has been determined, that means the second half. Remember, we are having the first half, that's the left-hand side of, the left-hand side of yours, when the data is given. And then we are having the median. And then we are having the right-hand side one. That means the left-hand side one is the first quartile. The middle one is a second quartile. The right-hand side one is a third quartile. Now let's see this on numbers. We are busy talking about them. Let's check them on numbers. Now, okay, now we can check it. Let's check it. Here it's the numbers that we are giving. It's 17, 21, 15, 17, 21, 25, 23, 20, 21, 18, 12, 7, 15, 17, 15, 19, 18, 17, 14, and 11. Let me reread the numbers again. That's 17, 21, 15, 17, 21, 25, 23, 20, 21, 18, 12, 7, 15, 17, 15, 19, 18, 17, 14, 11. Do you see them now? Now, remember what is important again. Before we go to those quartiles and whatever, we have to rearrange them. That means we start from the smallest to the highest. Now, let's start. The first number is 7, and then the second 11, 12, 14, 15, 15, 15. And then it is 17, 17, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 20, 21, 21, 21, 23, 25. Do you see that? We rearrange them from the smallest to the highest. Now, the question that I received now, it says, is there how many methods are we having to determine the median? Come on. Come on. How many methods are we having? Method depends on you. It's on the only method that we are having, it's only one method because we have to rearrange them from the smallest to the highest. You can't get the median without rearranging the data that is given. After you get those numbers, after rearranging the numbers, as I done here, I rearrange them. Now, remember, I will show you when immediately now when I'm doing Q2. Remember I said Q2 is the median. That's the middle one. Now let's count how many numbers are we having. Remember that question. I'm now going to answer it now. That question of how many methods. Do you get the point? Thank you. Now, let's check it. We said the first number is 7, 11, 12, 14, 15, 15, 17, 17, 17, 17, 18, 18, 18, 18, 18, 19, 20, 21, 21, 21, 23, and 25. Now, let's check how many sets are we having. How many sets are we having? How many numbers, data are we having? How many data are we having? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Do you see now? We're having even numbers. Oh my Lord. Now it's even number. Remember, if it was an odd number, it was easy for you. If it was odd number, it was easy for you to look for the middle one. Now, if it's even number, if it's even number, what must you do? You add the two numbers, that to those two numbers, those are the centers, and then you divide it by 2. Hey, it's simple, you see? You add, if you're having two middles, you add them and you divide them by 2. Hey, that is important. If it's even number, you add those two centers, two middle numbers, and you divide them by 2. And then you get that number. Now, let's check it. Remember, if it's an odd number, you go straight to the center one. Now, if you look at this one is not an odd number. It's having 1 up to 20. You see? That means number 10 and then number 11. What is our number 10 when we rearrange them? Number 10 is 17. Number 11 is 17. That means our middle number is 17 plus 17. And then it gives us 34. 34 over 2. Now 34 over 2, it gives us 17. Now you see? Now, that means you see here, I make a space to show you there must be a number here. What is that number must be? That's 17. Now, remember Q2, which is our medium, it's 17 plus 17, and then it's 17. That's our answer. Now, we go to Q1, first quartile, which is our lowest, lower quartile. Remember, we said they are the numbers from the left of the middle of the middle number. What are those numbers from the left? How many numbers are there? Let's count them. It's 1, that's 7. It's 2, 3. Okay, let me do this so that you can see it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do you see? That's 10 numbers from the left of the middle number, from the left of the median. And then, let's check. They must be equal to, remember, those numbers must be equal. Let's check them. Also from the right-hand side, is it 10? It's number 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do you see now? Do you see? Now, we count them. Remember, to get the lower quartile, you check also the middle number from the left-hand side. Of the middle number again from the left of the middle number of our middle, or from the middle of our median. Now let's check how many numbers are we having. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you see? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Remember, we're having 10 again. What's that? Is it an odd number or even number? It's an even number. Now, what are we doing with the even number? Remember, what did I say with even numbers? I said even numbers, we add two center numbers or two middle numbers, and then we divide them by 2. Now, let's check it. Let's count. That means it must be number 5 and number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 15. And number 6, 15. That means our lower quartile, or Q1, it will be 15 plus 15 divided by 2. Do you see? Do you get the point now? Let me repeat it. We said Q1 is the first quartile, that means the lower quartile. Now, if let's start by this again. Number 7 is the lowest number. Number 25 is the highest number. Remember, when we talk about the lowest and the highest, it's where we talk about the range. You get the point? It's where we talk about the range. Now, from number 1 up to number 17 here, that's our lowest quartile or the lower quartile. From 17 or from 7 up to 17 here, that's the lower quartile, first quartile. And then it's our median. From 17 up to 25, it's the upper quartile. Now, we are saying Q1, which is our lower quartile, we check it from here. We are looking for the center number here, the middle number here of lower quartile. We count how many numbers are we having from our median. I said it's 10. Let's count them. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 numbers. Now what must I do? Remember, even numbers is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's a multiple of 2. You remember that? Now, if they are 10, they are even numbers. It's a part of even numbers. Now, if it's an even number, you remember we said even number, we add both of those center middle numbers, and then we divide them by 2. What are those middle numbers? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6 and number 5. That's 15 and 15. Now I add the 2. 15 plus 15, it gives us 30. 30 divided by 2. How much did I get? That's 15. That means our Q1, it is 15. We go to Q2. We go to Q2. What is Q2? Q2, it is our middle number. We said our Q2 is 17. Sorry. That's Q2 is 50. That's a 50 is the center, the middle one. That is number 17. Now we go to the upper quartile, Q3. The same applies to Q3. Let's count them in numbers. I said they must be equal, those numbers. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Obviously, this side it was having 10. This side must have 10. Now what's happening? It's an even number. Now if it's an even number, we add the two center numbers, we divided them by 2. Let's add them. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 numbers. That's 20 and 21. You see? Now we have to add 20 and 21. You add 20 and 21. 20 plus 21 divided by 2. It gives us 41 over 2. What is 41 over 2? It says 41 divided by 2, which gives us 20,5. That means my Q3 is 20,5. What is Q3? Remember, that's a 75th percent. Do you get the point? Do you get the point? That's correct. Now, that leads us again, it gives us again to talk about what is called by interquartile range. What is interquartile range? What is interquartile range? The interquartile range, remember the interquartile range. What did I say about the range? We said the range is the highest number minus the lowest number. Now we talk about the interquartile now. The interquartile range is the difference between the third and the first quartile. One asks himself, what is the difference between the Q3 and Q1? Quartile 1 minus quartile, quartile 3 minus quartile 1. That's Q1 minus Q3. Let's go back to our data. What is our Q1? Our Q1 is 15. What is our Q3? Our Q3 is 20,5. Do you see? Now, what must I do? I said we talk about interquartile and said interquartile range. That's the difference between the third and the first quartiles. That means my interquartile range, my interquartile will be Q3, that is 20.5, minus Q1, that is 15. What is 20 minus 20.5 minus 15? That's 5.5. That means my interquartile will be 5,5. Do you get the point now? Now, if you remember, again, I said to you the first quartile, Q1, it is 25% of the data set. Now, we can change that. Let's talk about percentiles, whereas we are talking about the quantiles. Let's talk about the percentiles again. What is a percentile? When you see the words percent, it is out of 100. Do you get the point? It's out of 100. Percentage means out of 100. Now, we are saying 25% of data set lies below first quartiles. That means we are saying from our first quartile, 25% of data lies there. Let's have a look to our data again. We are saying here 25% of this data, they get 15. 25% of this data. That means that's what we are saying here again. That's what we are saying here. We are saying 25% of data set lies below the first quartile and 75 above. Remember why it's 75? Is that 50 of the middle plus 25% of the third one? Sorry. Now that means 75% they got above 15. That means 75% of this data, 75% of this data, they got more than 15. Whereas we said for the first quartile, 25% get less than 15. 15 and less. Now, 75% of them got more than 15. That's why we call it first quarter. We said about 25%. Now 50% of the data lies below, and 50% lies the median. Remember, 50%, the middle one is a median. We are saying when the median is here, it's 17. We said the median for our data is 17. Now, 25% plus that 50%, that's 75. That's why we talked about the third quartile. Now, 75 data set lies below 30 quartile and 25 above. Let's check it here. Let's check it here. Remember, we said our third quartile is the middle one. That means 75%, they got less. And 25% get above that 20.5. Do you see that? We said our third quartile is 20.5. That means 75% got less than 20.5. And the remaining 5 got above 20.5. You can see it. Remember, 21, it's above 20.5. That means how many numbers? 5 numbers. That's got five numbers got 25 people got more than 20.5. That means 25% of them got more than that, more than 20.5. And 75% got less than 20.5. You can count it from, they are here from 20. That means 15 of them got less than 20.5. Only 5. That is 25%. 15, it's 75%. Do you get the point now? Now, let's check it. How did they ask it from the exam? Let's check it. How did they ask them from the exam? Remember, I will start with that one of frequency table. Now, we are going to check how did they ask from the exam. Let's check them here from the exam. How did they ask it? It's the same paper. Paper 1. Sorry. That's paper 1 from November 2009. It was also in question 3. Now, let's check it. Do you see now? Here it's our frequency table. That's learners we performed in geography. Remember, we done them here. 1.2, if you can remember them. Let me repeat it again. It says, the geography class. Do you see it? That's correct. The geography class, the geography examination marks expressed as a percentage of 52 learners were recorded as follows: 54%, 67%, 83%, blah, 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 until 100%. Do you see them? Yes. Now, the first question, it says, determine the lowest percentage mark. The second one, it says B, highest percentage mark. Okay. And then, let me start with this one. And then, 1.22. It's 7 marks. When we add the first one, lower percentage mark, lowest percentage mark is 1 mark, highest percentage mark is 1 mark, and then it is that one of 7 marks. Now, it's 9 marks. Remember what did I said? I said it's determined by the marks that we are giving. That means now I have to give you, it's 9 marks, it must be 4.5. I'm giving you 4 minutes to do it. After 4 minutes, we'll be marking it. Thank you. Okay, now let's check the answers. I think now you answered all the questions. Now remember we are doing the frequency table. Now let's go straight to the answers. What did we done? And if we can remember this frequency table is very simple. And you are given what you must do. Now let's check it. Now if you look at the numbers that were given to us, it was from performance level 1 up to 7. Remember these levels, they are the levels that you get from your reports. You see level 1, it's 0 up to 29. You still remember that? That means they are the one who fails it. Level 2 is 30 to 39. Level 3, that's 40 to 49. Level 4, that's 50 to 59. Level 5, that's 60 to 69. 6, 70 to 79. Level 7, that's 80 to 100. That's 80. Sorry for that. I wrote 80 to 80 here. That's 80 to 100. You see now? Now, you go back to your data. You check how many learners got from 0 to 29. That's 4. Learners who got 30 to 39. That's 5. You remember, on a frequency, you write as numbers. Don't forget that. Now, learners who got 40 to 49 were 11. Learners who got 50 to 59, that's 8. Learners who got 60 to 69, that's 5. Learners who got 70 to 79, that's 8. And 80 to 100, they were 11. Now let's check the total. Sometimes they don't give you a mark for a total. But please, well, you know why they didn't give you a mark for it? Because they know you done it from grade 11, 10, 11. You were given mark for that total. But please, double check it. Write the total, irrespective of you get that marks or not. It helps you to see whether did you put all the information there. Because if you don't write a total, you'll never know that did you miss any number or whatever. Now remember, let's check it, our total here. It's 4 plus 5, it's 9. Plus 11, 20. Plus 8, 28. Plus 5, 31. Plus 8, 39. Plus 11, 50. What does the question say? It was saying 50 learners were writing that geography test. Now you can see. Now you can see that if you add them, it shows us we didn't miss any number. That means we capture all the numbers, and it helps us to see whether did you get it correct or not. Now, you see how did you mark it? Do you see how did you get that 7 marks? Remember, it was 7 marks. How did you get that 7 marks? Let's have a look. For saying from 0 to 27, from 0 to 29, you get a mark for it. For each and every column, you get it marked. That is why it's 7 marks. Remember, look at the performance level. There are 7 performance levels. Marks are 7. Now, 1.21. Number A, it says, what is the lowest percentage they got? Check it. 1.21. That's 20%. What was the highest? That is 100%. Do you see that? Yes. The lowest number, it was 20, and the highest one, it's 100%. That means they are the learners who got 100 out of 100, or 50 out of 50. That means they get total of that test. Remember, they said that that test is written in percentages. That is why they said lowest percentage, not lowest mark. If you just write 20. What's that 20 stand for? 20 marks? 20 cups? No, you have to write percentage. Because the question says, what is the lowest percentage? So you must write that 20 with its percentage. Now you'll be getting a full mark for that. B, if you just write 100, what do you know? 100 chips. 100 what? But you have to put, please put that unit, percentage. Most of our learners didn't put those units. And if it's 1 mark, you'll be penalized for that 1 mark. And if you are penalized for 1 mark, what's happening? You get 0. Do you see? Now, please, let us take that into consideration, please. Let's check again the other question. Now, before I go to other question, this leads me to, I know this chapter, most of learners, they don't like it. And it's very nice, that chapter. Let's introduce probability. Probability. Remember, probability is part of data handling. If you remember from grade 10, let me remind you from grade 10, the probability scale, it was like this. It is 0 here. And then here, it's 50-50. That's half. And here it's 1, or 100%. You remember that? 0, it's impossible. Impossible things. You see? And here, 50-50. This can happen or can't happen. It have 2 sides. It can happen or it can't happen. Now, 1, that's certain. If you remember it from grade 10. certain. That means you are quite sure about this one is going to happen. Let me give you example of impossible of 0. Let me say to you, tomorrow I'm going to be a president. Is it possible for me to be a president tomorrow? No, that's impossible. Do you get a point? Now, that one of 50-50 or half. It's going to be raining tomorrow. Yes, it can. Also, it can't. That's 50-50. Do you get a point? The last one, certain. The sun will rise tomorrow. Yes, of course. Like it or not, it will rise. Now, what is this probability that are we talking about? Hey, Minir is busy talking about probability. What is probability? What is probability? You are busy asking yourself, hey, we are busy. Probability. Probability is a study of chance or something to happen. Now let's have a look on this one. I said to you, the probability of raining tomorrow. How can we write it? Probability of me being a president. P stand for probability. I was saying that. P stand for probability. And then open brackets. Being president. And close bracket is equals to 0. That means it's impossible. Do you get a point? Now, let's check it. How did they ask it from the test, from the examination again? Okay, this one. Let's have a look on it. This one is examination question. It's from paper 2. November 2009. It was on question 4. Let's check it. It says, all the members of the debating club at Mount Free High School are in grade 10, 11, and 12, or 12. The numbers of learners belonging to the debating club is given. Let's check it. Grade 10, girls, 33 of them. Boys, 132. When you edit it, it's 165. Grade 11, 77 girls, 0 boys. That's 77 the total. Grade 12, 0 girls, 60 boys, and 60, total is 60. When you add all of these totals, gives you 302. Now, let's have a question. Let's look at this question. It says, use the above table to determine the probability of randomly choosing the member of the debating club who is a boy in grade 12. Let's check it. How many boys are we having in grade 12? 60. Now, question is, what's the total number of all learners? That's 302. Do you see that? 60 boys out of 302. Why 302? 302. That means you check all learners there. You don't check only grade 10 or grade 11. You check from grade 10 up to grade 12. Remember, how many learners are we having from grade 10? 165. From grade 11, 77. Grade 12, it's 60. Now, when you add 65, 77, and 60, it gives you 302. Now it will be 60 over 302. And then you see it's 2 marks. We have to simplify it, which is 30 over 151. Let's check it. It is 60 over 302. Now how do you do it? You divide by 2 here. That's 30. Over, when you divide it by 2, it's 30. 302 divided by 2, it's how much? That's 151. Is there any number again that we can put there? Divide from 30, which doesn't have any remainder, and also goes through for 151. Tell me, is there any number? No. Now, there is no other number that we can use. That means it is 30 divided by 300. 30 divided by 2 is 30. 60 divided by 2 is 30. And 302 divided by 2 is 151, which also costs 0.2 or 19.87%. Now, remember, what did I say? I said you write P, boy in grade 12, that probability of boys in grade 12. Now, the second one, it says number of learners not in grade 10. That's 77 plus 60. That's 137. Not in grade 10. 77, grade 11, 60, grade 12. That's 77. Now, P, not in grade 10, probability of not in grade 10. That is 137 over 302, which is 0.45 or 45.36%. Do you get the point? Now, the last one that I want us to do quickly is this one of the tree diagram. Hey, good people, tree diagram is very important. Our tree diagram, it is W stand for win, L lose, and D for draw. Remember, I said it is, you can have a look on this question again. It is paper 2, November 2009. Please, please, check it. Now, probability of winning, it has also 3 outcomes. It's win, lose, or draw. Again, probability of lose, it has 3 outcomes. It's win, lose, draw. Probability of draw itself, it also have 3 outcomes. It's win, lose, draw. Now let's check it. Do you see? It's win, win, WW. It's win, lose, WL. It's win, draw, WD. It's lose, W. LW, lose, win. LL, lose, lose. LD, lose, draw. And then DW, draw, win. DL, draw, lose. DD, draw, draw. That's the probability of that team to win. Now, question says, win both games. Let's have a look here. You just check where you see WW. Where do you see W? Only here 1. Now you look at outcomes. How many outcomes are we having? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That means it is 1 over 9. Of B, win 1 game. Where you see only 1 win. You see? It is win lose is 4 over 9. Do you see that? The last one. Draw at least one game where you see only D, one D here. You see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, sorry, 5. Where you see D, it's 5. That will be 5 over 9 or 0.55. Now, please, let's practice it, this probability. Thank you for listening and thank you for your time.